Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome back to the Dysphagia Duo live trainings and cooking demos. Kat Ludwig, dietitian. Stephanie Pepper is running the technology for the first part of tonight, so she'll be over here in a minute. Tonight, we are going to talk about protein. And this is a topic that's really, really important because aside from water, it is of the utmost importance that you get it into your body on a daily basis. And we're going to talk a little bit about why. So we're going to make some salmon mousse. I said in my Instagram post earlier today that this is a dish that when I was doing catering, we did a lot of fancy salmon mousse dishes, whether as hors d'oeuvres or canapes or whatever you want to call them in all the fancy language. Typically, we do them on a cucumber or on a fancy cracker or either way. This one, I'm going to show you how to do a simple salmon mousse with some classic ingredients. And then we're also going to do a shrimp cocktail because some of you may be thinking that I can't have seafood. That's weird. We're going to show you that you can. So typically we would make cocktail, but the cocktail sauce is not the star tonight. So we just have store-bought cocktail sauce. When I make cocktail sauce, I usually just use a little bit of a tomato base like ketchup or a plain tomato sauce, and then add horseradish and a little bit of lemon in it. So there's our cocktail sauce. We poached our shrimp and we just did that in some water with some bay leaf and some peppercorn and some salt. And I made a little video so we can show you that as well. And the salmon, I pulled out of my freezer because I try to keep salmon on hand. This came from Alaska. Someone brought it to me from a trip. My brother, if he's watching, he keeps saying he's going to send me some because he lives in Alaska. So I'm going to have to hold him to that and see what else I can make for you guys. So I just lightly seared this in a pan with a little bit of olive oil on low heat. And then I flipped it over and I shut off the heat until it was cooked all the way through. You know it's cooked all the way through when it's firm. So we're going to take our salmon and I'm just going to crush it up a little bit and we're going to put it in a food processor with a little bit of cream cheese, some dill. You can use fresh or dried because it's, I almost said January, because it's February. Obviously, we don't have much fresh dill, and I'm not willing to pay an arm and a leg at the grocery store for it. So we just have some dried. I do believe this came out of Stephanie's garden, though. So it's probably fresher than any other dill you can get. It's fresher than the stuff I have at my house. And then I'm going to add a little bit of garlic because garlic goes in everything. All right, so salmon is a fantastic source of protein. Oh, and we're going to make a little fake cracker as well. Hey, Steph.
Hi. I just ran down into the basement and I got our breadcrumbs. So we're going to make a pureed cracker.
And I see that you brought rye and wheat. So we have a couple of different flavor profiles. That's smart. Mm-hmm. Good job. Okay. So the word protein has not always been around. Imagine that. And because you're a speech language pathologist, I thought you might find this interesting.
I'm sure I will.
The word protein was developed by a Dutch chemist in 1838. And it is from a Greek word, protos, that means of prime importance.
I just got the chills.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
So like I said earlier, second only to water, it is one of the most important thing you can put in your body for a number of reasons, which we're going to talk about. So literally, your body needs protein for every single thing that it does. The enzymes in your body, oh gosh, my screen turned off. I do have some notes to make sure I stay on track. The enzymes in your body are made from proteins, which is sort of ironic because you need enzymes to break down proteins to make more enzymes. Same things with hormones. Same with structure. The same with your immune system. The same with your DNA. everything in your body needs protein. So I'm going to start by putting some of this, and then Steph is going to get started doing some of our shrimp cocktail, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Surprise.
I am.
Yeah.
Great.
So we're going to do it in the blend jet.
Okay.
And for that, we're going to use some lemon juice and our cocktail sauce. And if we need a little bit of water just to thin it out because it's too thick, we'll do that. So I'm going to dump my salmon into the food processor, and I'm just going to, salmon is great because it flakes pretty easily. It's a pretty soft meat, which is really helpful, especially when you have trouble chewing. Salmon is really easy to chew because it's so soft. So I'm just gonna toss it in my food processor. Okay.
All right. I don't know how to turn this on for
That's
you.
all right.
I will try to keep it up.
I'll figure it out.
If you open it.
I think I need to just turn it around instead of having it the way I have it. So, okay. And if anyone comes on, we would love for you to drop where you're from and your name. Say hello. We're happy you're here.
And ask questions.
Yes, please ask lots of questions. So
you want to talk about how we cooked this?
I did already.
Oh, you did.
I know, I did. You had run downstairs to grab our stuff to do our cracker. So, shrimp is really, really wonderful because it's so high in protein, and yes, it's kind of a strong flavor, but this is why we pair it with other strong flavors. And you're from the South, so shrimp is like a staple where you are from. I didn't have a lot of it in the Pacific Northwest. We had salmon. You know what I mean?
Imagine that. Funny that we're doing salmon and shrimp tonight.
I love it.
Okay, I'm gonna put 3.
Okay, I think that's enough. Yeah,
and we'll save the rest.
All right. I'm gonna drop my cream cheese over here. Actually, I'm gonna. Oh, I gotta figure out how this works. Okay. You know what? I don't know that I'm going to. I think I'm just gonna take it and put it in my blend jet from here because this is pretty small already. Okay. All right. Okay, so your body starts processing your protein mechanically with your teeth, right? So,
Sorry.
no, you're okay. It's gonna be loud for a second. And I'm gonna make a mess again, as I say every week. All right. So your digestion of your proteins technically starts in your stomach. Your stomach releases hydrochloric acid, which is the thing that causes us problems with reflux, but you need it because your body needs to break down those proteins. And proteins are long structures. So you've seen one of those chains at like Christmas that kids make with the paper links, right? So a protein is one of those, but like in a ball, all tangled up. So what happens when it hits your stomach is the hydrochloric acid starts to unwind it and make it straight again. And then there's another substance that your stomach secretes that chops it up into small pieces. And then from there, it goes into your intestine. And then your small intestine, with the help of your pancreas, releases more enzymes that helps break down your peptides, as we call them, because now they're no longer long proteins, they're little chunks of amino acids, breaks them down into peptides or single amino acids. So amino acids, there are 20 of them, and 9 of them your body cannot make. So you have to get them from food. Really, really, really important. You have to eat enough protein and a variety of proteins in order to get what your body needs to make more proteins and to do all of the functions that it needs to do. So the other 11 amino acids your body can make most of the time. There are a few that if you are like critically ill, your body can't make them.
Okay.
So you need to get most of your protein, or most of it, you need it from food because your body can only make some of it. So it's really important that you eat protein every day. Okay, so the ones your body doesn't digest, it sends out with all the rest of your waste, which makes sense because your body just gets rid of what it doesn't need. So one of the main functions, we're going to go over some functions of proteins, is to remake your DNA. So your protein is responsible for your DNA producing all of the rules basically that your body needs to function.
Okay.
So without DNA, we don't have you or me, and everybody's DNA is a little bit different. If we're missing one amino acid, your DNA cannot properly build. It'd be like making a car but leaving out the gas tank. You've got a great car that looks great, but you're missing one vital piece, right? So if your body can't get that amino acid, it's got to break down your tissue. So this is where it starts to degrade your muscle and can lead to muscle wasting. So if you're malnourished and you're not putting new stuff in, even some of these things, super, super helpful just for replenishing those amino acids and those proteins. So if your body starts to break down your tissue, that's not necessarily a good thing, especially if you're not taking in new stuff to replace it. So this also can be a problem if you don't get the right stuff and what you eat directly affects your genetic code. So if you are eating bad stuff, it can turn on and off certain genes. So the right kind of food is really, really important for making sure our DNA is producing correctly to make sure that we can continue to live a healthy life.
Can I add just a little bit in terms of the whole muscle wasting?
Yeah.
So in terms of someone with dysphagia, muscle wasting is a huge concern because when you swallow, you need that muscle bulk. Not only do you need the muscle strength, but you need the bulk.
Yeah.
Also, so that you don't have so much empty space in the structures.
Because your muscles are supposed to take up a certain amount of space.
Correct. So the more your muscles waste, the harder it is for you to swallow.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the muscle wasting of arms and legs.
Yep.
It's muscle wasting all over the body. So the muscles of swallowing are also wasting away as well.
And typically your body is going to break down that skeletal muscle first. So that would be your strength, right? Your strength that you have for swallowing. When it gets really bad, it starts to break down those other important tissues like your heart muscle.
Right.
And that's when we start to see even more detrimental things happen.
Right.
So, it's really, really important. Some of the other things, actually, I'm going to blend this real quick.
Okay, I am too while you're...
Although I need more liquid.
I'm at the sweet spot. Oh, maybe.
That looks great. Okay. This is going to be really thick, so it might take a while.
I have some seafood
stock.
Yeah.
Ooh. It's just going to be really, really thick. We're doing okay. I'm kind of surprised.
You forget I'm from Louisiana, so seafood stock is a...
Yeah, hit me with a little bit of that. It smells so good. Oh yeah, that's funny. Okay. So some of the other things that your body needs is to produce energy. You cannot, we talk a lot about you need carbs for quick energy, but your body also needs protein in order for you to have more energy. Long-term energy. So they say marathoners, I know your son ran a marathon recently, and typically your body uses carbs up until about, I think, mile like 18 or 19, and then your body switches over into using protein for energy. So you have a mile or two there where people typically get very, very exhausted. Oh yeah, now we're cooking with gas.
Oh, that's the sweet spot. Yes, beautiful.
Okay. Do you want to make us some bread?
I do.
Cool. Okay, so one of the other things is you need proteins to make more proteins. So your body is constantly breaking down. Like when you work out, we want you to eat or drink protein after a workout because your body needs to replenish what it just broke down. Because your body is in a constant state of flux where it's constantly destroying and building. And this can happen simultaneously as long as you have the right stuff to do all the work. So some of the other things in order to make cholesterol, which is really, really important for healthy hormone levels, you need protein. In order to make fats, you need protein. Who knew? Your body can make almost anything. It can make fat, it can make carbs, and it can make protein out of either fats or carbs or protein as long as you have all the building blocks right there. So it's really important to make sure you have a variety of foods in your diet. The other piece that I haven't mentioned is your immune system is made up of protein antibodies. So antibodies are made of proteins. So in order for you to have a healthy immune system, you need to eat enough protein so that your body can fight off a bacteria or a virus that comes in, or even a cancer cell that comes in and tries to take over. You need protein in order to do that. A couple of the other things that it does that are really important is we talk about salt a lot when we talk about healthy eating. Yeah. And I've been hearing recently that there's some new research saying that we don't need to limit salt the way we always thought we did. So I'm digging into that a little bit more because I'm really intrigued by it. But one of the things that proteins in your bloodstream does, along with transporting things here and there, because things hitch a ride on proteins, it delivers things to the right place in your bloodstream. Protein also makes sure that your water in your blood stays in your vessels. So in long-term care a lot, we see that people have fluid accumulating in their legs and in their abdomens. But we also see that their protein levels in their bloodstream are really, really low. So what's happening is that the low levels in the bloodstream means that it can't hold on to that fluid and keep it where it needs to be, so it seeps out into these other areas where it's not supposed to be. So we need to make sure that you're eating enough protein to keep your water in your blood. So that's one of the reasons. That's not all of it, but that's one of the things that can happen. And then your acid-base balance. We talk a lot about positively charged and negatively charged in nutrition. People are all about the alkaline water and the alkaline diet and all that, but one of the things people don't realize is you have to have adequate protein in order to keep that balance also. So how much do we need? How much protein do we need every day? This is the trick. It fluctuates, right?
I need more than I thought I did.
True. I will never forget that day that you told me that, and like you had this aha moment and you're like, Kat! I was like, I know. It's great, isn't it?
I've had to add extra protein. So I eat meat and I eat a fairly healthy diet, but I was having some
ooh, the dill in there is really strong too. I love dill. Dill's one of my favorite things.
Well, and that's homegrown dill, so
I need to add a little bit more salt.
But by adding extra protein, I do a protein coffee or I do a protein water every day in addition, and my health has improved.
Yeah, and you feel better.
I do, a lot.
You can physically feel it. So you get everything that you need from food, but your needs change with different life stages. As a baby, you need a lot more protein and a lot more calories because you're building, right? You're growing. If you're sick, you also need more protein because you need to replace those antibodies that are working for your immune system, and you need to keep your fluid in your body, right? If you're running or working out, you need more protein. If you're sitting on the couch not doing much, you don't need as much. So one of the misconceptions is that you get fat by eating fat, but where does that excess protein go if you eat too much? It gets stored as fat. Your body turns into fat and stores it just like it does carbs. So having a well-balanced, healthy diet, really, really important for maintaining a healthy body image for yourself and strength, and preventing that fat accumulation when we don't need it. So interesting.
Nice.
People don't think about these things when they okay, so the other things like stress and trauma, those can increase your protein needs as well. So like if you had COVID, really, really important that you get enough protein and calories in your body. The problem is a lot of people had taste changes and they didn't want to eat anything.
We're seeing a lot of the late effects of that taste change.
Yeah.
Now.
People are starting to waste away. I've even seen patients come into the little hospital I work at for like a knee replacement. And I've had little old ladies tell me, oh yeah, I've lost 30 pounds because I don't eat because nothing tastes good because I can't taste anymore. I'm like, well, you just had a knee replaced. It's really important you get enough protein in so that you can heal properly. And they're like, nothing sounds good. And this is when I say, well, then get something like this and drink it. And not as a meal, but literally throughout the day, because you have to replace it somehow. And if you can't taste it, the Cajun Farms one tastes pretty good, actually. I even had my husband drink a few of them to see what he thought. And he's like, yeah, chilled, really good. He's like, I didn't like them room temperature so much, but
Fair
chilled,
enough.
they're good. Sure, why not? So, all right, I'm going to blend this another time, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about when you shouldn't eat too much protein. And then we're going to talk about some sources of protein.
Good.
That's looking pretty darn smooth. So I had, so typically we would do this in a food processor if we're doing it for like an event, because it doesn't have to be completely smooth if you're putting it on like a cucumber or a cracker or whatever. But for any of our people that need things completely smooth, start here, get it into really small pieces, and then put it in your blend jet and add a little more liquid. I had someone ask me a couple months back, they're like, I can't get it smooth enough. I said, did you read that recipe? It said to blend it literally for 5 minutes. It said blend for 5 minutes, because your food processor is not meant to get things perfectly smooth. So if you need to add a little more liquid, something like seafood stock or even vegetable stock would work really, really well.
Water. If all you have is water, water works too.
Yeah, use water.
You can even salt the water a little bit so it's got a little flavor.
So this is not going to get perfectly smooth because the salmon has a lot of texture to it. You want to try it?
Yes.
But so there's going to be a little bit of texture in there, but the flavor's really good.
Wow.
Pretty good, right?
That tastes like summertime.
It does taste like summertime.
And I don't know if anybody can see outside. It is far from summertime
It
here
was
right now.
7 degrees when I left this morning.
It's, yeah.
So, okay, so besides shrimp and salmon, the other good sources of protein are other meats, eggs, and dairy. All really, really good sources of protein. These are also animal sources, and we call them complete. They are complete because you don't need to add anything else to them to get all of those little amino acids to make everything that your body needs. Now, if you you're probably asking, well, does that make other proteins incomplete? And my answer is yes. So what does that mean? Well, for example, I have a package of lentils here, and I have a package of quinoa. So this is a grain, and this is a legume. These are both really good sources of plant proteins, but they are incomplete, which means you have to pair them with something that's missing those amino acids that they don't have. So this one has what this one doesn't have, and vice versa. So together, they make a complete protein. So this is also why in a lot of other cultures in the world, they eat beans and rice, because beans and rice together make a complete protein, which means they have all 20 of those amino acids in there. So, and I have a list. Okay, so my notes got a little bit long. There's a lot. Protein has a lot of stuff, surprisingly.
That's so vital.
Peanut butter and bread. Garbanzo beans and sesame paste or tahini, which makes hummus. So hummus is a complete protein.
Who knew?
I know, isn't that great? Because it's one of my favorite snacky things. Pea soup and either bread or crackers. So we're seeing a theme here. We've got our legumes and we've got our grains. So the quinoa in a quarter cup has 6 grams of protein, which is really darn good. So quinoa is one of the highest protein grains out there. So I want to try to do something with quinoa one of these weeks to try to show you how we can smooth that out a little bit. I had a lady send me a list of ingredients, how she just adds some extra like olive oil and some other creamier textures so that it goes down a little easier. Because if you need completely smooth, you're probably not going to be able to eat quinoa. But we're going to try it and figure it out. Lentils, on the other hand, 12 grams of protein in a quarter cup. These have even more protein than one egg. But the egg is a complete protein and this is not. So you need to pair this
Thank you.
with a grain, typically with something like rice.
Never a problem at my house.
I know. You and your rice. It's
Yes.
rice and gravy. I know where I can always go to get some rice and gravy, let me tell you.
Yes.
Delicious. Okay, so animal proteins, they're complete. They're easy to digest and they're bioavailable, which means that your body can break them down very, very easily. Animal sources, incomplete. They're sometimes a little bit harder to digest because they're full of fiber, which is also very important and very good. We're going to talk about fiber more when we talk about carbs next week. How do you do eggs completely smooth? Has to have honey thick, and this is a great question. So I would say get your food processor and put your eggs. Don't cook your eggs until they're hard. Leave a little bit of the softness or the liquidiness, because if you blend them, that heat from the food processor is gonna make sure that that liquid absorbs. And the French don't like to cook their eggs all the way through anyway. Not that you should do that, but typically there's a little bit of water that comes out, especially if you add milk or water to your scrambled eggs. So leave them a little bit wet when you put them in the food processor. We have a client who mixes cream cheese in with hers, and that helps. Mm-hmm. I try to stay away from water because that just makes like a wet, goopy mess. And if you need honey thick, water's not super helpful. So typically with eggs, thicker is okay. Would you agree? If they're on honey thick, not always? It depends.
It's not always.
Okay. So this
depends on the person.
This is definitely a Stephanie question. Mm-hmm. And she could make this assessment better with your husband there. So maybe
I need to know the reason why.
Give us a call so we can chat a little bit, so we can give you a better, more direct recommendation. So we'll drop the phone number here too, so you can send us a message. Okay, so shall we?
Yes.
So the other thing I forgot before we got down here was, if you need this thickened, you can always add a little bit of that thicket to your, if you put in too much liquid, you can always add a little bit of the thicket or whatever to this to thick it up a little bit. Yeah, Brenda, we want to chat with you a little bit so we can give you a better recommendation.
Or potato flakes.
Potato flakes?
So I keep potato flakes
on hand.
Yes, because it'll thicken. If all you need is a tablespoon, you don't need a whole package. So I just keep it in a mason jar.
That was almost bad.
I did.
I twisted and the bottom almost came off. I haven't done that before.
Okay.
It scared me.
So here's the skinny. This is wheat. This is a wheat cracker. It is a pureed wheat cracker. Essentially pureed.
It's basically dehydrated bread.
It is. Now I added a little bit of oil to the water just so that
it's a little smoother.
It's a little bit smoother.
Okay. Oil is your friend when it comes to some of these swallowing things because it can make it a little bit slicker. Yeah. If that's an appropriate word to use.
I think so.
Okay. Okay. You want this one in here?
I don't know. Actually, I feel like a shrimp cocktail deserves...
I agree.
So this is our rye.
Okay, so yeah.
So shrimp and rye on rye.
That sounds delicious. A rye cracker with that would be delicious. Okay.
So one of the things that...
I think I want to put a little more cocktail sauce on the top of this too.
Fair enough. So, well, they're similar in color, so I don't know if you can see the layers in here. We love doing layering.
We do love layers.
Yeah, I like it. But let's tip that a little bit.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'd like to just comment about this is it may not be completely smooth. Not all people who need puree need completely smooth puree. However, we do have clients that we are moving from completely smooth to
textured.
They want to eat regular food. Well, that progression requires that at some point your puree doesn't have to be so smooth.
We want you to get some texture in there.
Right. So the best way to progress to regular food or soft food not being pureed is to start working towards puree that is not quite as smooth.
Right. Yeah. It can be, it takes some work, but anytime you're doing physical therapy or occupational therapy or anything, it takes a little bit of work.
You have to take those steps.
Yeah. So when you have dysphagia, meat and fish purees are really, really helpful because they're easy for your body to digest and they give you everything you need in a smaller amount. Now, that being said, if you're vegetarian, this is not what you're going to be eating. If you're pescatarian, it's great. I had to throw that out there. I mean, why not? But you may need a supplement like this Kate Farms or even the Orgain, or you can get a powder. So egg protein is great. You just can't get it hot because it does curdle. So you want to mix this into cold things. Or I think you can mix it into things and then bake with it, and it works pretty well too. This is another one that the Isopure, you just mix it in water and you drink it, and you can add thickener to this, and it will be the correct consistency. But one scoop of this, I can't remember how big the scoop is. It's pretty big. But one scoop is 20 grams of protein. But if you sip on this all day long, that's an extra 20 grams of protein
you get in a day.
That you get in a day that you weren't getting before. So sometimes it's about replacing your water with protein added to your water in order to get some extra.
That's one of the things that I do to add the protein to my day is I just make one of those in a shaker bottle that has a shaker ball in it, and then I just take a sip every now and then.
Yeah. Or you get something else like whey, soy, hemp protein, pea protein, etc. And you can mix that into milk or juice, or I like to, you can add it to pudding and make a higher calorie, higher protein pudding.
This is how I make my iced, my protein coffee. So I'll take room temperature coffee and mix this protein in, and it's like a iced coffee latte.
Yeah.
And you can do it with chocolate, you can do it with vanilla. It's really good.
Shall we try our...
We should.
Yeah.
So this is beautiful. I have to show them. I don't know if they can see
So
this.
I love salmon puree. Yeah, I think we're yeah.
It is beautiful.
It's okay. It's just a book. This is a well used book. This just makes it more well used.
Please.
It's all right. So this is not completely solid, as you know. I'm gonna eat some because it does look.
While I clean your book.
Totally fine. There's fish on the fish page. It's okay. I'm gonna show you guys this book in a second because this book has helped me many a times. So you can see here, I've got a little bit of the cracker or bread to make our sandwich, and then oh no, see, it's fine.
Yes,
I'm not
it's
even
fine.
worried.
It'll smell good too. For a little while, then it'll smell bad.
You know what? I would even take this for lunch. Because, ooh, and that bread in there too just makes it a little bit, I don't know, it gives it a little, yeah. So you can do this in just the food processor, and you can use this as like salmon salad throughout the day. You know what I mean?
That's really good.
Yeah.
This shrimp cocktail.
Ooh.
Right?
I'm really impressed with that.
And truly.
And I got a little extra of the cocktail because I just this year became a big fan of horseradish. And so I really like that flavor. And there's not so much in there that it's overpowering either. This is a fantastic option for a high protein. And there's not a ton in there, but that's probably one whole shrimp.
Yeah. Well,
and it's actually really smooth.
It is. It's
super smooth.
So, for those of you with dysphagia who are missing shrimp cocktail or any kind of special occasion dish, this pureed shrimp cocktail is delicious.
It's really good. And the shrimp was super easy. I'll make a little video and post it on here, hopefully tomorrow. I'm learning how to make videos, so sometimes it takes me a little while. But you want to get protein in, and there's a lot of studies that say you should do it at this time of day or whatever. Ideally, you want to aim for like 20 grams at each meal, and that's on the low end. If you go a little over, that's fine. Now, if you have kidney disease, you need to make sure you drink plenty of water, and you can't eat as much protein because protein can be harder on your kidneys when your kidneys don't work super well. I think that one's mine. Sorry. It's got flavoring in it too.
It doesn't taste like mine.
Our cups are the same. Go figure.
Sorry, I'll wash it.
No, you're fine. I'm not even worried. My immune system is strong.
We eat after each other on camera every day.
I know. Okay, so I just want to go over a couple of the benefits of getting adequate protein.
Yes.
So the first one is it reduces how hungry you are and your appetite when you shouldn't be hungry, because you feel fuller longer, because it takes a while for your body to digest protein. So protein has a higher satiety level. So getting enough is really important for suppressing that appetite. And this can also help reduce cravings in the long run. So you eat less junk if you're eating enough protein. It increases your muscle and your strength.
Yep.
We've kind of been talking about that. So that one, yes, is a given. It can improve your bone health. Because when you have enough protein in your body, things stay where they're supposed to. When you have enough protein in your body, your bones aren't breaking down as quickly as they could. And for some of us, like for me, osteoporosis runs in my family. I'm at high risk of fracture as I get older. So me getting enough protein is really helpful for keeping my calcium in my bones. Better ability to burn fat. When you have more muscle, your muscle works harder and burns more fat without you having to work as hard. Kind of a no-brainer. And this leads to an increase in your metabolism, which means you burn some of those easy calories more efficiently. And this can lead to weight loss or weight gain, depending on what you need. Mm-hmm. So for those people that are trying to lose weight, adding extra protein every day may give you some help in losing weight, mm-hmm. as opposed to if you're getting enough protein, it'll store it. But if your body's not getting enough, it's going to use it and you're going to lose weight without even having to do anything. Who knew?
That is true.
So true. So
can attest.
It's pretty cool. And then it can also help with your blood pressure because that protein in your blood keeps things where it's supposed to be. And it also helps you repair after injury or trauma, or like if you break a bone or sprain a muscle or any of those things, or have surgery. Extra protein can help you heal faster. And then last but not least, your immune system. Have we not all over the last almost 2.5 years been talking about our immune function? So having enough protein in your body lets your body create the pieces that it needs to fight off infection. So yes, you may have gotten COVID, but maybe you didn't have it as bad if you had enough of the right proteins in your body and your body was making all the right antibodies so it could attack all of those things that weren't supposed to be there. So I think I hit everything on my list. Oh, last but not least, in order to make proteins, you have to have enough vitamins and minerals. So it's really important to eat a variety of foods and a well-rounded diet, because even if you get enough protein, but you're malnourished with like your B vitamins, you can't make those proteins because you don't have the B vitamins to make those proteins, for example. So you need to have a well-rounded diet, and this is why for a lot of people with dysphagia, I want you to be on a multivitamin, and they make some pretty good liquid multivitamins because those multivitamins will help your body process your protein more efficiently and make all the things you need to heal. So if you have more questions, Brenda, if you're still on, I want you to go to our website. Let's see if I can do this. And I want you to book an appointment with us because we want to see if we can give you a hand. Okay. If you go to our website, there's a link on there where you can book an appointment. So schedule a time to talk with us over the computer, and we'll see if we can give you a hand. So have a wonderful rest of your week. Work on getting enough protein into your diet. Try some variety, try some different things. And if you need a recipe or you need a recommendation, or you don't know what pairs with something, I have this book that I've had for, 15 years. I think I bought it in 2006. I love this book. It's got all these pairing ideas. So it's got all these foods in here that it says what things go with. So like shrimp goes well with allspice, anchovies, artichokes, bacon, and it's all in alphabetical order. And there's a lot of options. So if you're not sure what to pair with something, let me know. And we're here to help. So if you need help with swallowing, we are here to help you. Go to our website and book an appointment with us. We would love to talk to you. And even if you just need some encouragement or an idea or anything, we are here for you and we want to help because we know how much of a struggle this is. So get a hold of us, invite us on your journey, and enjoy your protein foods, everyone. We'll talk next week. See you later.